Well, I thought I'd put you to sleep with some of that cheesy elevator music. I might kind of leave it running here in the background a little bit so that way you don't get too bored with it. But here's what's going to happen is I am going to go over some pointers. Let's see if I can get the light on this thing. Might help a little bit. Probably not because you look like this and you never know what's going to happen. Anyways, for those of you that may be watching this after the fact, my name is Russ Weaver, and I am the Chief Operating Officer for Bear Creek Landscaping and the guy that is developed this with much animosity, not from me, but from when I was a firefighter. We had a fire chief that was a fire inspector. He used to go around saying, like, I'm going to go out and cause a bunch of hate and discontent. Well, anytime I implement something new, that's how I feel sometimes. So anyways, again, my name is Russ, and I'll be running you through the training. This is on the question and answers. If you haven't watched NetSuite 101, NetSuite 102, or NetSuite 103, then, well, this will probably lose you a little bit because I'm going to literally run through this kind of quickly because I want to make sure that we get through it. I don't want to be sitting here playing around with it as we go along. You got to forgive me. I have 3 monitors, and one of them has my screen on it. So I'll be looking over here a little bit, not so much at you because I don't really see you as it is. And then my main monitor, which is a control panel for how I record these videos and how everything sounds. So it's really important that I get this thing right. So let's talk about this really quick. We are going to be moving forward here to slide number 2. Slide number 2 is actually how to make a lead. We're going to be covering that, how to convert it into a prospect, and what is the difference between an opportunity and a proposal. Man, I really thought I nailed that sucker in the training, but clearly I didn't. And how to change an address or get the address. And I'm going to run through a few other things as well. There's going to be several trainings coming through the month of June, and they're all going to be mandatory. If you don't make one, it's on you. And that's kind of how I'm going to feel right now. So anywho, that's what we're doing, and that's how we're doing it. All right, so to get started here, let's talk about Shazam. Go back here, exit out of that. Go here to my nice music. Okay, first things first, we talked about logging in to the system. So let's bring this guy up. Now, I put this little red cursor on here so you can actually see where my mouse goes. I had somebody actually complain about that. So I downloaded this thing just for you guys. That's right, just for you guys. Okay. So while this thing uploads and gets ready, I want to explain something very clearly once again. I'm going to talk to you about what the difference between an opportunity and a proposal are and what they do. Okay. Leads, prospects, and opportunities are private information held within inside the company. Okay. Proposals or estimates and invoices can be seen by the customers if they're given access. Why is that important? Because you don't want an unfinished product to go out to a customer if it is not ready to present. That's number 1. Number 2, the last thing you want to do is do a quote that's $20,000 and put it out there for $13,000 and mislead a client and making them angry. Okay. Additionally, if they can see the invoice, guess what? They can also pay the invoice online. You can actually go in and put a note. All work above this line has been completed. They can go through and check it out and pay for it. Pretty simple. We don't need to make this more complex than it is, guys. So here we go. Okay, this is the, what's it called? What's it called? I feel like Ferris Bueller, dashboard. And just to make this fun and even, I'm going to go on here and change myself to the same settings you guys have. Therefore, you guys see, or I see, everything that you see. It's the COVID. It's got me. Just kidding. Okay, any day now. I really do try to make these videos in the morning because it goes a lot quicker. The number 1 part that I covered in the first videos is this previous one. I can go in here and look at any recent records that I've worked on. The second one would be I can go in there and create any shortcuts that I need or want. The second one is I can go home to my dashboard anytime I want to. The third thing I talked about was setting preferences. These are overall preferences. if you remember, one of the things I talked about that has to be done is your name, position, phone number, and email address. Okay. So if I clicked on this home, or if I highlighted the home, clicked on preferences, I would come up with this screen. I need to fill out this information right here. This is the most important part of the whole thing. Okay. My name, my email, my salutation, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, the legal mumbo jumbo should be a part of this. Why? Because if anybody comes in and decides to do anything maliciously, we can sue the crap out of them and all become millionaires. The other part is this is just formatting. How do you want to see stuff? Unless you have something that you want to do, I wouldn't worry about it. I would just leave it alone. When you're done, you're going to go over here and click save. However, freeze, don't do it. You can also change your appearance. What do you want it to look like? You can look at your transactions. Do you want to autofill? Please don't do anything in here. Analytics, you can look at financials only. You can look at all reports. You can look at never. You can do all sorts of stuff. You can print the company logo. I'm not worried about it because it's already defaulted. There's alerts you can put in here for selection. These are all your preferences. I have nothing to do with it. Okay? I'm going to look you in the face and say this up front. I have nothing to do with your preferences. I can't change them. I don't have access to them. So whatever changes you make in this section here, any of these tabs is all on you. Any of these tabs, all on you. Now, I'm going to go in here because I am not a Georgetown University fan. I am actually a... Come on, where's that? Right there. I'm going to save it. What will happen is you're going to notice that my colors here and here are going to change in the appearance. And again, this is just a you thing. This is a way for you to customize it, personal it, make it your own. Oh, good Lord. I chose the wrong team. Ah! I'm not a Cougars fan. What is going on? I must have hit the wrong one. I was in a hurry. That's my excuse. Crap. All right. I'll do that later. So I'll go back to the dashboard. Okay. I can customize my templates here. If you remember, we talked about going here to the personalize and dragging and dropping these different tools and playing with them. You can't mess anything up here, guys. You can't. You can just add things to it, take things away. Not a big deal. They're just your tools. Your layout. I have the 3 panels because I like to see a lot. Honestly, you guys are probably going to need 2. This guy right here. Okay? But I need 3 because I have all this other stuff that I like to look at, especially first thing in the morning. Understand? Understand. The KPI or the key performance indicator meter, actually these are for open prospects. How many open prospects are there? How many receivables are there? And what is the pipeline showing me? This will be relevant later when we're talking about opportunities. Okay. There are other things you could put in here. Open prospects, pipeline weighted. This is kind of the same information, but I can click on this and it takes me down. I could drill down to specifics. How many prospects, when were they last touched, so on and so forth. Receivables, what's due, what's overdue, what's previous, how come it's down and not up, so on and so forth. But these are all things you can customize. The only thing I asked you guys to do is, number 1, make a reminders list, okay? If you remember in setup, there's an all. You can do a standard, but this is where you carry things over, okay? The second thing I asked you is when you do another one, you want to look for sales and restrict to only mine. In my case, I want to look at everybody's. Why? Because it's my job to look at everybody's. What that does is this compiles information amongst the entire company. This tells me what everybody's sales were. Well, we have a new business. How many number of orders in average size deals? That's company wide. When you go up here to these 3 dots and hit setup and you go to restrict to all to mine, it changes this information extraordinarily fast. See how that works? Pretty simple. Okay, so this is your dashboard. I am not going to waste any more time on this. This is on your time. However, in an effort to get this information out to you quickly and to make you understand and to get this going, I feel like it's incumbent upon me to get you in this as quickly as possible. After all the time I spent in teaching, number one, segments 101 talks about your dashboard and basically getting to the lead page. 102 talks about producing leads and prospects. And number 3 talks about leads, prospects, and the evolution into opportunities and how they all kind of tie in together. So the very fact that I got the question of how do I create a lead again was a little frustrating. I won't lie. However, I also understand we're throwing a ton of information at you. So how do I create a lead? Very simple. You go here to lists, customers, lists, leads, new. Okay. Customers, leads, lists, new, leads. Customers, lists, leads, new. What it'll do then is it's going to take you to a lead generation form, which all of us have the same one. It is the BCL customer form right here. You can change this if you want, but I'd recommend that you don't because all the information is compiled differently. One thing that'll be disappearing is right now there's a tie to the company name when you make it into a opportunity, I think it is, or when you convert it to a lead or from a lead to a prospect. Now, allow me to define lead again. Lead is raw information. 90% of the time, it's going to be an operational staff, China or Deb, or another office staff manager that's going to be placing the leads into the system, or it was automatically generated by, you guessed it, the internet, because our website will tie directly into it. Once you put in a lead, because you've already normally spoken to the client, you can automatically convert it. And I'm going to talk about that right now. If I was you, and I'm not you, but if I was you, I would start here and I would just put in Mike Johnson, job title NA, company name NA, parent company doesn't have any. This is going to be a qualified lead because I spoke to them. The category is going to be cleanup and renovation. If you don't know where I'm at right now, I'm over here. This is the department that I'm assigned to. Account managers. You do not do maintenance unless it is a maintenance contract. Everything else you do is going to fall under renovation and cleanup. Everything that you do is going to be cleanup and renovation. If you are in construction, for the current people that are there, that would be Doug, Daniel, and Joe. Everything you're going to do is going to fall under, you guessed it, landscape construction. And for the few people that are in irrigation and ponds, they are going to fall into those categories. You are not going to select maintenance unless there's a maintenance contract and you're actually the one doing a program called a sales order. I'm not even going to broach that conversation with you because we can't even handle leads right now. So in the meantime, we're going to do renovation. Don't worry about this. This is going to disappear. Comments, you can make any private comments that you want. The next thing is going to be email. It could be abc@gmail.com. Oops. Ultimate email could be something else. Maybe they have a work email. Phone number could be their primary phone number that they're going to contact you at. And I'd still put this in the mobile phone too. But what you can do is you can just come here, put that in. Put that in if they have a fax, like who does anymore. And if you remember, this is the part where things get confusing because generally you would just click in this box and put an address. It doesn't work that way. The reason it doesn't work that way is because there's a box right here. Follow the little pink arrow, guys, called address. You're going to click on that. Now, Joe was trying to put it in here. Even though I had said about a dozen times, you're going to come all the way to the right side of your screen under edit. All the way over here. Edit. Can you see that? Click that arrow right there. This is where you put in the address. Okay? If it's attention to, maybe they have a foreman that is working for Mr. Johnson. Maybe it goes to Sam. You have a different phone number, but you don't. In this case, address is going to be 903 Redmond Falls City Road. Here's the beauty. I showed this before. I love this on the program because it ties directly into the taxes. If you notice, it's going to auto-populate the location. Oh, I didn't do it because I was doing it. I overrode it already. Okay. When you put in the zip code, because I did an autofill on this, it'll actually fill this in, which is beautiful. Then you're just going to go up here and click OK. Now the address is going to show up here when I hit add. There it is. Now, I talked about this in the beginning, and somebody said, do you really have to click on map to confirm it? No, you don't. But I would, because why would you not want to make sure you're going to the right property? You already know Google and its algorithm can get really jacked up in King County. I've ended up at lakes, almost in the water, because it told me to go straight, which was the dock, to go across the water to Redmond because it thought I was on 520. So I would just go in here to make sure that it shows that I'm on the right site. Great. There's 903 Redmond Falls City Road. Perfect. No worries. It's done. Now, I'm going to click save. Why? Because I'm done with the lead. Pretty simple. Now, there are a couple of things that we're going to be doing in the office. Let's say I want this lead to go to somebody different. I don't know what it's doing. It's going slow again. While this catches up, the difference between a lead and a prospect is that a lead is basically just that. It's like a fishing hook. Once you contact the fish, you're teasing and taunting, that's called a prospect. The minute you make contact with the client and you start putting numbers, that's going to transfer it to an opportunity. Follow the process. It works, okay? So I'm in here now. Mike Johnson's been entered. But let's say I'll want to make sure this is under me. So it's under me right now, okay, under Russ Weaver. I'm going to convert it. I want to become a prospect now. And the reason why I became a prospect is because I called the client and made contact. So now it runs from lead now to a prospect. Why? Because contact has been made and information has been taken. Maybe not a lot, but perhaps I found out a budget. Perhaps I figured out that they wanted a deck and they didn't want a gazebo. Maybe I go, oh, well, Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for returning as a client. We really appreciate your business. And I already have familiarity with you. So I'm just going to make it into a process. Truth is, for you guys, a lead is basically data entry and then convert it to a prospect. The only time you wouldn't do that is if you haven't even spoke with the customer. Let's say Mike or I or a lead comes in and you haven't talked to them, then it stays a lead. Please don't convert it to a prospect until you do, because that will skew our analytics or skew our analytics when we're trying to figure out where our leads are coming from and if they have any value to them. Each lead, each prospect, each proposal and each invoice will be what the value of that's going to be. Now clearly an invoice, because it's actually been made into a collectionable item as opposed to that's usable. Okay. So this is converting. It never takes this long except for in the afternoon. And by the way, I did call Comcast because of where our location is at here in Red. Um, how many people are online between now and with online classes? So I apologize for the wait. Still waiting. So once you hit convert, you're off and running, guys. It's just there, and it converts into a lead. I mean, from a lead now to being called a prospect. Okay, there's only one more step you need to follow when you convert it, because it's going to ask you to basically verify the information here. It might tell you that there's duplicates, and there is, because the address I put in has been used a number of times. So I'm going to say create prospect and a new contact, which a new contact, you can have multiple contacts for the same location. And maybe they have 10 different divisions or 10 different areas, or maybe it's a property management company and they have 5 or 6 different properties. This will actually tie the contact to that property. That's one of the reasons why I asked you, was there a parent company, if you recall. Okay, so now I hit submit. This information is being converted to a prospect. And again, a prospect, you have some information, something tangible. I've made contact. I'm going to go out and speak with the person in face-to-face and get the information that I need to create the template, if you will, for what's going to become the lead prospect opportunity. Lead prospect opportunity, lead prospect opportunity, lead prospect opportunity. You guys, it's like a song. And man, is this internet crashing down. See how it goes. Hang in there. Between me streaming and everybody else online, the girls are doing training, streaming. Kyle's got music going. And I'm really surprised that anything works. online right now. So once this converts, this is taking forever. Okay, I'm just going to wait for it to come up. It says convert. Now, when you guys make a lead, it'll actually say save because I wanted you to be able to see this. So now it's a prospect. You're going to click right here with this little plus sign. It's good. And to make a point, hear the music maybe out. And I can literally hear the other people talking about systems as what they're doing. So here. So now an opportunity comes, and this is where information collecting is. And convert it from a prospect to an opportunity. Now, opportunity is where you're going to put in budgets. That's where you're going to start the scope of work. It's where you're going to make sure the sales is performed, the financial information is done. There's so much more to opportunities than what's here. And I cover that, I believe, in segment 103 is defining. So we'll probably create a 104, and then we're going to go to a 201, which is going to be estimates and proposals, along with contract information, and then a 202, which will be invoices and collections and processing of payments. In the meantime, I just created an opportunity from my lead because my lead became a prospect, and now my prospect